Welcome to my channel, Old Coins History 333. In this video, I tell you about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent pennies, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. There's something inherently magical about coins. They are pieces of history that you can hold in your hand, each with its own story, connecting you to a moment in time. And among the most iconic coins in American numismatics is the Lincoln Wheat penny, particularly the 1957 edition. A simple, yet captivating coin, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny has a story that spans over a century and continues to be one of the most intriguing pieces of U.S. coinage ever produced. To truly appreciate the significance of this penny, we need to step back in time to 1909, the year the U.S. Mint first introduced the Lincoln Wheat penny. Prior to that, pennies in circulation were primarily adorned with images of Lady Liberty or, in the case of the Indian head cent, a design reflecting Native American symbolism. But when President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most revered figures in American history, was chosen to be immortalized on the penny, it marked a new chapter in U.S. coin design. The decision to honor Lincoln with his own coin was a groundbreaking one, and the designer, Victor David Brenner, was entrusted with capturing the essence of Lincoln's legacy. The coin featured a profile of Lincoln on the obverse, a dignified and somber portrait of the 16th president who had steered the country through its Civil War and preserved the Union. On the reverse, Brenner incorporated two wheat stalks framing the denomination, a simple yet striking design that would become known as the wheat penny. The design of the coin was so well received that it remained unchanged for decades. Throughout the years, collectors and numismatists have revered the Lincoln Wheat penny for its historical significance and its beauty. Fast forward to 1957, and the wheat penny had already been in circulation for nearly half a century. By this point, millions of these coins had been produced, each one representing a tiny snapshot of American life during the 20th century. But little did anyone know that a select few of these pennies from 1957 would later become objects of immense value. 1957 itself is a year steeped in historical context. The world was in the midst of the Cold War, and the United States was emerging as a global superpower. Domestically, the country was recovering from the aftermath of World War II, with the economy thriving, and the baby boom generation was making its mark. It was a year of prosperity, but also one marked by tension and uncertainty, particularly on the geopolitical stage. As for the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny, it was minted at three primary locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While the Philadelphia Mint produced the majority of the 1957 pennies, those minted in Denver and San Francisco had their own distinctive features, including the D and S mint marks. These mint marks were a way for the U.S. Mint to track where the coins were produced, a practice that continues today. At first glance, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny might seem like a humble, everyday coin. But like many coins throughout history, the true value of a penny often becomes evident only after time has passed. Collectors, particularly those with an eye for detail, began to notice that certain 1957 pennies were different. Whether due to minting errors, rare conditions, or simply being part of a limited number of coins that survived in pristine condition, these pennies began to attract the attention of numismatists and coin enthusiasts alike. Over the years, collectors have sought after the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny in various states of preservation. The quality of the coin, its grade, plays a major role in determining its value. A well-preserved penny, one that is in uncirculated or mint condition, can be worth much more than one that has circulated heavily and shows signs of wear. A 1957 penny with no noticeable wear, especially one that has been kept in a protective holder, is more likely to fetch a higher price at auction or through private sales. But it's not just the condition that adds value to the coin. There are also the so-called varieties of the 1957 penny. Coins that were minted with errors, such as double strikes, die cracks, or off-center strikes, are particularly sought after by collectors. These variations make the coin unique, often turning a common penny into a rare treasure. In fact, the term error coin is a key part of the excitement that surrounds certain U.S. coins, and the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny is no exception. Pennies that exhibit these errors can fetch thousands of dollars in the right market, as collectors are always on the lookout for these rarities. But perhaps the most astonishing reason why the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny holds such an allure for coin collectors today is its rarity in specific, near-perfect conditions. A coin that has been preserved without even the slightest hint of wear, with no signs of discoloration or scratches, can become a holy grail for serious numismatists. And here, we find ourselves at the crossroads of history and value. What makes the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny particularly intriguing is its potential value. While the vast majority of these pennies are worth only a few cents, typically under $1, the rare exceptions can make for some jaw-dropping prices. A coin in uncirculated condition, or one with a significant minting error, could be worth much more than its face value. But the real shock comes when we talk about the top-tier examples of the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny. Imagine for a moment. You're holding a coin in your hand, one that is in pristine condition, unblemished by time or wear, a coin that has survived decades of history, passed through countless hands, and remained untouched by the harsh realities of circulation. For a coin like this, some collectors are willing to pay a premium that might just take your breath away. The most exceptional examples of the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny have been known to fetch upwards of $75,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right. $75,000. This jaw-dropping value is not for every 1957 penny, but for the rare specimens that have reached near mint or gem quality, the price can skyrocket. And if you're lucky enough to have one of these coins in your possession, you might be sitting on a small fortune. These coins are treasures not only because of their beauty and historical significance, but also because they represent the enduring power of a simple piece of currency to capture the imagination of collectors. Of course, the market for coins can fluctuate. Prices can rise and fall depending on demand, economic conditions, and shifts in the world of numismatics. But what remains constant is the allure of the Lincoln Wheat penny, a coin that continues to captivate collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike. As we look back on the legacy of the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny, we are reminded of the story that each coin tells. From its creation at the U.S. Mint to its journey through decades of circulation, each penny is a small but significant chapter in the greater history of the United States. And for collectors, that story is far from over. So, if you're ever sifting through your spare change, don't overlook the pennies. There might just be a 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny waiting to be discovered, a coin that holds the weight of history and the potential to unlock a treasure trove of value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual enthusiast, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny is a reminder of the magic and mystery that lies in the world of numismatics and in the world of coin collecting. It's not just about the face value of the coin, but about the story behind it, the rarity of its condition, and the unique place it holds in history. And with the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny, that story is far from over. Top 2. We're going to zoom in on a specific edition of this penny, one that might just be sitting in your wallet or a drawer right now, waiting to be discovered. We're talking about the 2000 Lincoln 1-cent penny, an often overlooked coin with a fascinating history, a unique design, and the potential to be worth far more than its face value. If you're a coin collector, investor, or just someone who has an eye for rare finds, this is one penny you'll want to learn about. It all began back in 1909 when the U.S. Mint decided to introduce a new design for the 1-cent coin, replacing the Indian head cent that had been in circulation for decades. The new design featured the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, whose leadership during the Civil War preserved the Union and ultimately ended slavery. The design, created by artist Victor David Brenner, was groundbreaking. It made Lincoln the first president to appear on a U.S. coin, forever memorializing his likeness on the penny. The reverse side of the coin depicted two wheat stalks, a tribute to America's agricultural roots. This became known as the Lincoln Wheat penny, and it would remain in circulation for over 50 years. But by 1959, the U.S. Mint decided to update the reverse design of the penny to reflect the changing times and pay tribute to Lincoln's legacy in a new way. The iconic Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., was chosen as the new design, featuring the grand columns of the memorial, symbolizing the lasting impact of Lincoln's leadership. This new version would become the standard design for the penny until the turn of the century. In 2000, the coin underwent another transformation, which is where our story of the 2000 Lincoln 1-cent penny begins. BY 2000, the United States was standing on the threshold of a new millennium. The country was experiencing unprecedented technological advances, and the American people were reflecting on the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, a milestone that was not only a significant historical moment, but also an opportunity to honor the legacy of one of the most revered presidents in U.S. history. To mark this occasion, the U.S. Mint decided to introduce a new series of commemorative designs for the Lincoln cent. These would celebrate the different stages of Lincoln's life and achievements, and the 2000 Lincoln penny would be the first in this series. The 2000 Lincoln 1-cent penny, while maintaining the familiar portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, showcased a completely new design on the reverse. The reverse side of the coin no longer featured the Lincoln Memorial, but instead depicted a dramatic image of the Abraham Lincoln Birthplace Memorial. This was a direct reference to Lincoln's humble beginnings in a log cabin in Kentucky, which would become a symbol of his rise from modest origins to greatness. The design was intended to remind Americans of the values that Lincoln represented: hard work, perseverance, and the pursuit of justice. But what made the 2000 Lincoln penny even more interesting was not just the new design but the subtle changes in its production. For one, the U.S. Mint faced increasing challenges in the late 1990s and early 2000s with the rising cost of materials needed to make the penny. The penny's composition, which had traditionally been a mix of copper and zinc, was coming under pressure as the cost of copper skyrocketed. As a result, the U.S. Mint was looking for ways to control production costs without sacrificing the integrity of the coin. The design of the 2000 Lincoln cent would also reflect a broader shift in the Mint's overall production process. For the first time in history, the Mint produced pennies with a slightly different edge, an edge that was smoother than the older coins. These pennies were now more uniform in size, shape, and design. But this change would eventually lead to something far more significant. While this shift helped improve production efficiency, it also contributed to a growing interest in the variations between different types of pennies minted in 2000. Now, here's where things get interesting. While most 2000 Lincoln pennies are relatively standard and worth only their face value, a small number of these pennies exhibit what are known as errors, minting mistakes that can make certain coins far more valuable than others. In fact, some of the 2000 Lincoln 1-cent pennies have become some of the most sought-after error coins in the market. If you've ever been on the hunt for rare coins, you may know that a minor mistake during the minting process can cause a coin's value to skyrocket. And the 2000 penny has just such a feature point. One of the most significant types of errors seen in 2000 pennies is the double die error. This occurs when the coin dies used to stamp the image onto the penny become misaligned, causing the details to be impressed twice on the coin. This results in a blurry or doubled appearance of the coin's design, which is immediately noticeable on the date, lettering, and other fine details. While such errors are relatively rare, they are incredibly valuable to collectors, and they can turn a seemingly common 2000 penny into a small fortune. There are also 2000 Lincoln pennies with off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly aligned with the coin, making the image appear tilted or incomplete. These errors are often seen as more unique and attractive by collectors who appreciate the randomness and imperfection of these coins. Depending on the severity of the error and the overall condition of the penny, these off-center strikes can demand a hefty price on the collector's market. Some 2000 pennies were also produced with missing or partially missing mint marks, a small but significant flaw that can increase their desirability. Mint marks, which are typically located just below the date on the obverse, indicate where the coin was minted, either in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, denoted by a D, or San Francisco, denoted by an S. Missing or misplaced mint marks are a rare occurrence, but they can be worth thousands of dollars if found in good condition. If you've ever wondered what makes certain pennies so valuable, it comes down to rarity and demand. For most people, a 2000 Lincoln penny is just a penny, a small piece of copper and zinc. But for collectors and investors, certain variations of this penny represent an opportunity to own a rare piece of American history, and that's where the real excitement comes in. In fact, the most valuable 2000 Lincoln 1-cent pennies can be worth as much as $30,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 2000 Lincoln penny with a noticeable error, in near-perfect condition, could fetch an astonishing price at auction, depending on the nature of the error and the demand at the time. Some collectors will pay top dollar for these unique coins, making the hunt for the rarest specimens of the 2000 penny a thrilling pursuit. To put this into perspective, imagine coming across a 2000 Lincoln cent with a double die error, a pristine off-center strike, or one with a missing mint mark in your change. You could be holding a small fortune in your hand, much more than the penny's humble face value. And while finding such a rare coin is not easy, it is far from impossible. With millions of 2000 Lincoln pennies minted, the likelihood of discovering a valuable variety is higher than you might think. For those who aren't experienced collectors but want to start, it's essential to know how to examine these coins closely. Look for doubled lettering, misaligned dates, off-center designs, and any signs that the coin's minting process wasn't perfect. When you find a penny that might show these errors, take the time to compare it to others and, if necessary, consult with an expert or have it professionally graded. A coin that is deemed to be in mint or near mint condition can dramatically increase its value, so the importance of preservation cannot be overstated. In conclusion, while the 2000 Lincoln 1-cent penny may seem like an ordinary coin at first glance, it's clear that this penny is far more than meets the eye. With its rich history, striking design, and the potential for rare errors, the 2000 Lincoln penny is a fascinating coin that holds incredible value for those who know where to look. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this penny is a reminder that even the most seemingly mundane items can carry a significant worth, waiting to be discovered. So, next time you're sifting through your change, keep an eye out for the 2000 Lincoln penny. It might just be worth far more than a single cent. And if you're lucky enough to find one with an error, well, you might be holding on to a small fortune worth $30,000 or more. Top 3. We're going to take a deep dive into one particular year of the Lincoln penny that has left its mark on numismatics, the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent penny. It may seem like just another penny at first glance, but when you look closer, you'll discover a rich history, subtle changes in design, and a value that's far higher than you might expect. This penny may have passed through your hands 1,000 times without you noticing, but it's time to give it the attention it deserves. Let's step back for a moment and explore the history of the Lincoln cent, how it became the staple of U.S. currency, the evolution of its design, and how the 1996 penny fits into that larger story. The first Lincoln cent was issued in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person on its obverse rather than a symbolic image, and it was designed by the artist Victor David Brenner. The penny's obverse featured the bust of President Lincoln, and the reverse showed 2 stalks of wheat, hence the name Wheat Penny. This design would remain unchanged until 1959 when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which continued until the late 20th century in 1996. However, the coin retained the traditional obverse design of Lincoln, which had been used since the original penny's introduction. The reverse of the coin still featured the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial, an iconic symbol in American culture. At this time, the penny had already been in circulation for nearly 90 years, making the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent penny a classic representation of U.S. currency by that point. But what makes the 1996 penny stand out in the world of coin collecting? While the design of the 1996 Lincoln penny remained largely the same as its predecessors, the year was pivotal in the history of the U.S. Mint and in the coin's appeal to collectors. At the time, there were significant shifts in coin production techniques, material composition, and overall interest in coin collecting. The late 20th century marked the end of the Wheat Penny era and the final decades of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, setting the stage for the next big shift in U.S. coinage. The 1996 penny, like many of its counterparts from the era, was made primarily of copper-plated zinc. The U.S. Mint faced increasing concerns about the cost of copper and other metals needed for coin production, and there were constant discussions about whether the penny should be eliminated altogether. However, despite these challenges, the penny remained a crucial part of American currency, and collectors were always on the lookout for unique examples of coins from this era. Why now, you might be wondering. What makes the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent penny so special to collectors, and why is it worth talking about in such detail? It's not the design or the composition, but rather the rarity and the condition of certain pennies from this year that set them apart. While the vast majority of 1996 pennies are worth no more than their face value, there are certain versions of this coin that are highly prized by numismatists. These rare versions often feature minting errors, rare grades, or variations that make them particularly valuable. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is the potential for error coins, those coins that were minted with mistakes. These coins, often created during the manufacturing process, are prized for their rarity and uniqueness. And the 1996 Lincoln penny is no exception. Throughout the year, the U.S. Mint produced thousands of pennies with various minting errors, some of which have turned out to be incredibly valuable. One of the most well-known errors for the 1996 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. In this error, the coin was not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to appear off-center on the coin. This creates a striking visual effect where parts of the image are cut off or appear skewed, making the coin stand out from the crowd. Off-center errors are some of the most popular types of error coins, as they are distinctive and offer a unique appeal for collectors. While many off-center 1996 pennies might only be worth a few dollars, coins with severe off-center strikes can command much higher prices. Another important error that makes the 1996 Lincoln penny valuable is the double die error. This occurs when the coin dies used to stamp the image onto the penny become misaligned, resulting in a doubled appearance of the design. For collectors, this is one of the most coveted errors to find, as the doubled letters and date can be quite pronounced. If you find a 1996 penny with a visible double die, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity of the error and the coin's condition. While minting errors certainly contribute to the collector appeal of the 1996 penny, the overall condition of the coin plays an important role in determining its value as well. A 1996 penny that has been well preserved, especially one in uncirculated or near-mint condition, can fetch a significantly higher price on the market. Collectors prize coins that have been kept in excellent condition, free from wear, scratches, or discoloration. A coin that has been properly stored in a protective case or graded by a professional numismatist can command much higher prices than a penny that has circulated for years. The fact that the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent penny was produced in large quantities also plays a role in its scarcity and top-quality condition. While millions of these pennies were made, finding one in perfect or near-perfect condition, free from the effects of circulation, is rare. This rarity is one of the reasons that certain examples of the 1996 penny can be worth so much to collectors. It's the combination of rarity, condition, and error that leads to a higher price tag in the market. Now, let's talk about the big reveal, the current value of the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent penny. If you're sitting on a 1996 penny, you might want to take a closer look. While most 1996 pennies are worth just 1 cent, there are rare exceptions that can be worth much more. A 1996 penny in flawless condition or with a pronounced minting error can be worth thousands of dollars. But the most impressive discovery comes when you look at the highest value examples of this coin. A 1996 penny with a significant minting error, such as a strong double die or off-center strike, can be worth up to $43,000. Yes, you heard that right, $43,000 for a single 1996 Lincoln penny. But don't expect to find that kind of value in every 1996 penny you come across. These exceptional coins are rare, and they require the perfect combination of factors: error, rarity, condition, and demand. However, the fact that such a high value is possible for this otherwise common coin makes the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent penny a thrilling find for collectors. So, how do you know if your 1996 penny could be worth a fortune? The key is to examine it carefully. Look for any signs of a minting error, double strikes, off-center strikes, or missing elements. Check the overall condition of the coin. If it's in pristine shape, it could be worth much more than a typical circulated penny. And if you're unsure, it's always a good idea to have the coin professionally graded. Expert numismatists can assess its value and determine if it's one of the rare, high-value 1996 pennies. In conclusion, the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent penny may seem like an ordinary coin at first glance, but as you've learned, it's far from it. With its historical significance, the potential for valuable minting errors, and the appeal to collectors, this coin has earned its place in the spotlight. So next time you find a 1996 penny, take a closer look. It could just be a treasure worth thousands of dollars. And who knows, maybe the next time you check your change, you'll discover a 1996 Lincoln penny worth $43,000. Top 4. Coins are often dismissed as mere currency, something we use every day without much thought. But there's so much more to these little pieces of metal than meets the eye. Each coin is a snapshot of a time and place, a testament to a society's values history, and culture. Among the many famous coins that have graced American pockets, few are as iconic as the Lincoln 1-cent penny. And though it might seem like a small, insignificant part of the U.S. currency system, the 1988 Lincoln 1-cent penny is one coin you'll want to keep your eyes on. The Lincoln penny has long been a cornerstone of American numismatics. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the design by Victor David Brenner made Lincoln the first U.S. president to appear on a coin, forever changing the landscape of American currency. The first penny, known as the wheat penny, showcased two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots. It wasn't until 1959 that the design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a monument dedicated to the 16th president's enduring legacy. For nearly 3 decades, this design remained the standard for the penny. As the years passed, the coin's design became as recognizable as the president it honored. The Lincoln Memorial reverse was loved by many, and it stood as a symbol of strength, unity, and patriotism. The obverse side of the coin, which featured a striking portrait of Lincoln, remained unchanged from its original 1909 design through to the 1980s. But by 1988, the world of coinage was beginning to shift. The U.S. Mint was dealing with the rising cost of materials needed for coin production, and there were ongoing debates about the penny's future. Some questioned whether the penny should be eliminated altogether, as the cost of producing a 1-cent piece was beginning to exceed its actual value. And yet, despite these challenges, the penny endured. Still circulating in vast quantities, still part of the daily lives of millions of Americans. In 1988, the Lincoln 1-cent penny was still made primarily from a mixture of copper and zinc. But in the years to come, the production of pennies would be forever altered by rising metal prices and economic changes. 1988 is therefore a pivotal year in the penny's history, as it stands as one of the last years in which the coin would be minted in this traditional composition before adjustments were made to keep up with rising costs. Let's take a moment to look at the 1988 penny itself. The design is a familiar one. Lincoln's profile graces the obverse, his face a reminder of the man who led the nation through its darkest days. He appears poised, dignified, and unmistakable in his deep-set eyes and distinctive beard. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial dominates the space. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the memorial is shown from a dramatic low angle, with the grand columns reaching skyward, reinforcing Lincoln's monumental importance to American history. Below the memorial, the words E pluribus unum remind us of the nation's unity, and the year 1988 is boldly displayed near the bottom of the coin. At first glance, the 1988 Lincoln penny may seem like just another coin in the vast ocean of change. But as any serious numismatist will tell you, no coin is ever truly ordinary. There's always a deeper story to be uncovered, a hidden gem lurking beneath the surface of what might seem like an unremarkable piece of metal. The 1988 penny is no exception. While most 1988 pennies are worth only 1 cent, there are certain versions of this coin that are extraordinarily valuable, and we're not talking about just a few dollars above face value. Some 1988 pennies have been known to fetch incredible prices, sometimes reaching as much as $63,000. So how can a coin that's been in circulation for so long hold such value? It all comes down to rarity, error, and condition. First, let's address the most important factor: the rare errors that can make a 1988 Lincoln penny worth far more than its face value. The U.S. Mint, as with any large-scale manufacturing process, is not immune to mistakes. Errors happen, and when they do, they can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a rare treasure. For the 1988 penny, there are a few key error types that make certain coins incredibly valuable. One of the most sought-after errors for the 1988 penny is the double die error. This occurs when the coin dies used to strike the design onto the penny become misaligned, causing the design to appear doubled or distorted. In some cases, the doubling is so pronounced that it's easy to spot with the naked eye. The doubling usually appears on the date or the letters, making these coins particularly striking and easy to identify. When such an error occurs on a 1988 penny, it immediately increases the coin's value, especially if the doubling is significant. In some cases, a 1988 penny with a noticeable double die error can fetch thousands of dollars from collectors who are willing to pay a premium for such a unique find. Another type of error that can make the 1988 penny valuable is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a design that is misaligned or partially cut off. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, the coin can become a very rare and desirable piece among collectors. The more severe the misalignment, the more valuable the coin tends to be. Some off-center 1988 pennies, especially those with significant misalignment, can also fetch thousands of dollars in the collector's market. The 1988 penny also holds appeal for collectors who are on the lookout for coins in exceptional condition. While most pennies from 1988 have been circulating for decades and have seen their fair share of wear and tear, there are a select few that have managed to avoid the ravages of time. These coins, which are in pristine or near-mint condition, can command a premium price. Coins with sharp details, no signs of wear, and no discoloration are highly prized, as they offer a glimpse into what the penny looked like when it was first minted. While these coins are harder to find, their rarity, coupled with their excellent condition, makes them especially valuable. Now, let's get to the big reveal. You might be wondering, how much is a 1988 Lincoln 1-cent penny worth? The answer depends on the coin's specific characteristics. While most 1988 pennies are worth just 1 cent, there are rare exceptions that can be worth far more. In fact, certain 1988 pennies with significant minting errors or in mint condition can fetch a staggering $63,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $63,000 for a single 1988 penny. But before you get too excited, let's note that these high-value coins are extremely rare. Only a handful of 1988 pennies with major errors or exceptional condition have ever sold for such a high price. The majority of 1988 pennies will remain worth only a cent. However, for serious collectors or those fortunate enough to come across an error coin, the potential for a significant payoff is real. The takeaway here is that the 1988 Lincoln penny, while seemingly a small, common coin, can actually hold substantial value, especially if it features one of the rare errors or is in pristine condition. The coin's historical context, its design, and the unique possibilities for error coins make it an intriguing piece of American numismatics. The next time you reach for your spare change, take a closer look at the pennies you find. You never know. Your 1988 Lincoln 1-cent penny could be worth far more than you think. And if you're lucky enough to find a rare version of this coin with a significant error or in exceptional condition, you could be holding on to a small fortune.